Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mac and Mike back with another video. And Cowboys Nation, I know it's tough. And I know some of y'all are Team Tank, but the Cowboys love to win games that don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But hey, I'll take a win no matter what. I'm that type of fan. But before we get into the video topics, can you do me a favor and drop a like and subscribe to the channel? It's great for the algorithm and definitely want to get this channel up there so I can keep giving you guys that real sports talk and not just that clickbait stuff. So, Cowboys Nation, we have a lot going on. And of course, you see the title. The Cowboys have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is kind of expected. But I know a lot of Cowboys fans that were holding out for hope, and I'd be lying to you if I wasn't one of them, but I'm also a realist. I know that the minute you put your playoff hopes in another team's hands, those other teams, well, for you, you're basically cooked. You put it in other team's hands, you're already in trouble. And what did the Cowboys in specific? What happened to the Cowboys specifically? Well, Commanders beat the Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets concussed. So maybe, well, not maybe. If the Eagles had won, we still would have had a chance. But at this point, none of that matters. Cowboys had way too many opportunities this year to be competitive, but we let those opportunities slip away and just stupidity, just dumb things over and over and over again. And instead of being focused on winning, we were focused on winning our way. And I get that the Cowboys are dealing with a bunch of injuries, but I'm of the belief that the Cowboys were never a bad football team. Just like remember when Mike McCarthy came out and said that, everyone jumped on him. It was, oh, you are what your record is. But in the grand scheme of things, especially if you see how the Cowboys are playing now, they were way better than the record suggested. Because we've seen these last few games, and that really proved that to me. And what's frustrating is that people want to hear the low hanging fruit. Nobody wants to hear the real issues and that the Cowboys have and why we ended up getting eliminated. When Dak Prescott was playing, everyone could see that he was playing hero ball. It was clear as day, but nobody wondered why. It's just, oh, Dak, it's easy to blame him. Stop playing hero ball. You need to stop that. Sounds good. And it's easy to blame Dak. And I've seen even Cowboys content creators that should know better. And they claim to watch the film, but they're putting it out there in the air. Maybe it's Dak's fault. We don't know what's going on. And they'll say maybe he's just doing too much of the line of scrimmage. And maybe he needs to stick to the plan and do what is simple, just like Cooper Rush. It sound familiar? Well, what's funny about that argument is that it implies that Dak is overcompensating and trying to make things work his way. But if you watch the film, especially compared to last year, this is what I realized. This year, the Cowboys are throwing more. This doesn't just include, and this includes the games that Cooper Rush was playing in. So I looked at the stats between Dak's 8 starts versus Cooper Rush 7 starts. The passing average under Dak was 38.62 passing attempts. That's the average. For Cooper Rush, the average was 35.43. That's the average. For Dak in his 8 starts, The rushing average, the rushing yards per game, the average was 82 yards per game. For Cooper Rush, in these last 7 games, he's been the starter. The rushing average has been 110.3 yards per game. And you might say, okay, I see the stats. Uh, there's not a big difference. It's not too, except for the rushing yardage, but it makes a big difference if you look at the grand scheme of things. So, yes, we're averaging 3 more attempts less under Cooper Rush, and we're getting 20 more yards a game with Cooper Rush as the starter. And there's other variables to why that is, but let's look at the sweet spot, which is the 2023 season. Where do we rank then based on now? And you'll see this pattern. And I'll get to it after I've gone over these stats. So in the 2023 season, the Cowboys were ranked as a team number 1 in scoring. Number 1 team, well, points scored. They were number 1. Do you know what we're ranked now in 2024? 20th. In 2023, total yards, we were ranked 5th. Now, 2024, we're ranked 16th. 2023, total plays. We were ranked 3rd. What are we ranked currently in 2024? 5th. So we're still running the same amount of plays, basically, as last year to this year. Yards, average yards per play. We were ranked in 2023 6th. Now we're ranked 27th. Average yards per play. So that, for me, is an indicator we're not throwing as deep. All these quick short routes. Think about that. So now all those deep plays we were getting last year, not getting them so far this year. But let's continue. Total passing yards. We were ranked 3rd. What do we rank this year? 8th. So we're passing more. Oh no, we'll get to that. So sit on that. Passing yards total, 3rd. We're 8th. So not that big of a gap, but we'll continue. Passing attempts. We were ranked 8th as a team in the NFL. You know what we ranked right now? 2nd. We're throwing more this year as opposed to last year. But passing totals are lower. The yardage totals are lower. So we're throwing more, we're getting less yardage. And passing average per attempt, we were ranked 6th. You know what the passing average per attempt now is? We're ranked 27th. So, not a lot of success throwing the football for 2 different quarterbacks. Oh, this was really interesting. Passing on first down last year, we were number 1. Passing on first down last year, we're number 1. This year, we're number 3. So common that teams pick up on that. So likelihood of Cowboys throwing on first down, very high. So what does that do? That's another thing people don't talk about. You pass on 3rd down, the likelihood of you running on 2nd down is low. Because now, just psychologically, you pass and say it's incomplete. Are you going to, especially Mike McCarthy's scheme, do you think they're going to run to get a short yardage and then throw? No, the likelihood is they're going to pass again. Because now, and I've seen it, they get themselves into a hole. So it's like, let's throw. Now, oh, it didn't work the first time. So we can't run, so we have to throw. And then now, you're on third down, third and long. What are you going to do? You're going to throw. High passing attempts because of that. And this is something that was common last year. But again, the average rushing yards last year we were ranked 20th. This year we're ranked 29th. So the running game got worse. And I always say it's a trickle down effect. Now, with the running game not being good, passing game can't being good, but we're throwing at a higher clip, what do you think's going to happen? That's on top of the defense falling apart. What do you think is going to happen? So when Mike McCarthy's talking about, oh, we want to rush the ball, oh, this this is another thing. Rushing attempts last year, middle of the pack, 14. This year, 26. So we're not even attempting to rush the ball like that. But then people say, oh, but the defense was giving up. If you're not if your defense is bad, do you know what you do? You run the ball. You have to waste time. Throwing the ball does not help you manage the game. You're gonna go 3 and out quicker, especially if your play style is just throwing the ball backwards, or not throwing the ball backwards, but just throwing it short. That's the issue you're gonna run across. Because if you're pass happy and you're not effective at it, you don't give your defense time to rest. But again, you start seeing the trend. And for me, based on this data, I came to this conclusion. Mike McCarthy's offensive success is based on defense and running the football. If you don't have those two things, then you will not win with Mike McCarthy. So stop blaming the quarterback, aka Dak Prescott, and look at the numbers. This year, the 2024 Dallas Cowboys are ranked bottom of the league in average yards per play. So they throw the ball, they're at the bottom of the league at doing that. We're at the bottom of the league in passing, but attempts were the second most on average in the NFL. And again, like I said, it's even higher than last year. So we're throwing more this year, and it's not working. We're at the bottom of the league in rushing yards per game, and the bottom of the league in rushing attempts. So compared to last year, we're rushing less and passing more. We're just putting more strain on the quarterback to make plays. And yes, could this have something to do with the defense being trash at the beginning of the season? Completely. But again, even with the defense getting better, we are still not doing enough offensively. And that is why I will always point to Mike McCarthy and his scheme being the issue. He can't evaluate his roster and he can't adjust to offset that. Based on the numbers, Mike McCarthy wants to throw 40 plus times a game to offset a bad defense. That's not how football works, and that strategy will always come back to bite you. This is what you won't see on most sports shows, and even with Cowboys content creators, because they just want to throw stuff out there and clickbait stuff, and oh well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You're too busy trying to appease. But again, this is the fact, and why I believe Mike McCarthy needs to go. His philosophy isn't quarterback friendly. Dak isn't Tom Brady. He isn't Peyton Manning. He isn't Aaron Rodgers in his prime. So it's stupid to expect him to go out there and throw that much and think it won't hurt your team, especially when all Mike McCarthy wants is his wide receivers to go down the field and come back or run out to the flats. And do you know what the biggest indicator of that is? Well, Cooper Rush, obviously, we talked about, started 7 games. Dak started in 8. Can you guess what the average target separation is for both quarterbacks? Just guess for a second. What is the average separation for the wide receivers? Two different quarterbacks, average separation. At this point in time, they're identical. The Cowboys wide receivers in Mike McCarthy's scheme average 3.1 yards of separation for both quarterbacks. For me, that's insane. How can two different quarterbacks, under basically two different O-line rotations, with Rush having to play against easier opponents and having a run game and better defense, still getting the same separation rate with the wide receivers? Again, take the put your thinking cap on. It's the scheme. Mike McCarthy's scheme is the problem. And there's no way you can have CeeDee Lamb and Turpin, one of the fastest guys in the NFL, and the average target separation is bottom of the league. Unless the guys aren't running the routes, unless again they're not running routes that are tailored to get the ball down the field. The scheme is not designed to use the speed that they have. They just want to run up the field and turn around, quick passing. Because from what I'm seeing about Mike McCarthy's scheme, he's more, I would say, focused on getting certain metrics. Oh, we want the completion percentage at this rate. We want to make these easy throws, but the throws are not designed for the team that you have. Having Turpin run down the field and coming back and having to make a contested catch is stupid. Same thing with Brandon Cooks. Have those guys doing crossing routes, underneath routes. Use their speed. Like, for example, when was the last time you've seen a completion on a seam? You don't. Because defenses know you're just going to sit in front of them. You're going to literally run to the guy and sit in front of him. You don't have to worry about the ball going behind him. That alone, for me, is why Mike McCarthy isn't a good coach. Y'all can cap for the guy all you want. Watch the games. He's not a good coach. His bread and butter is the offense. He's not a good coach. I'm sorry. He wants to throw, but when he does, it's basic check down routes with little to no motion, and you wonder why Cowboys can't score. Look at the Bucs game. The Cowboys should have lost that game, just like the Bengals game. But the defense had to pull off 2 amazing turnovers in order for them to win. One was by Jordan Lewis, where he just goes up and snatches the ball for the wide receiver in the end zone. And the other was where Deron Bland forces a fumble to end the game. But if those things didn't happen, along with having the best kicker in the NFL in Brandon Aubrey, who hit 4 50-plus field goals in the game. Yes, I know one of them was 49, so what? That's 50. The Cowboys would have lost the game if all that didn't happen. How many teams need a stellar defensive performance on top of a great kicker to win multiple games? You can't win consistently in the NFL like that. And the fact that people want to ignore that, to me, is nasty work. I don't care about 3 straight 12-win seasons if this year you got exposed for being a lackluster play caller who benefited from your quarterback bailing you out and having a top defense to eat off of. This was the year where McCarthy took full control of the offense, and now it has gotten 100% worse. If y'all want that guy back, go ahead. But I promise you, the only way the Cowboys are making the Super Bowl is if you have the Legion of Boom. If not, with this offense and how McCarthy calls plays, you're just wasting your time. And now everyone and their mama is coming out to defend Mike McCarthy for beating the Bucks when the Cowboys have been eliminated. Who cares? Guys are playing for their families. The guys are not playing to save Mike McCarthy's job. Half of them won't be Cowboys next year. And we all know why, because Jerry is cheap. The likelihood of Cowboys keeping Osa and Jordan Lewis is very, very low. The likelihood of them leaving is high. And what happens when that happens? Guess what? Oh, and don't forget, let a decent team offer Rico some money. He'll be gone too. And boom, at DT, all you're going to have is Mozzie. Running back room is just going to be Deuce Vaughn. So our two weakest positions since last year are going to get even worse going into 2025. That's the issue that the Cowboys are going to have. And y'all think Mike McCarthy can build on that with a stagnant offense and Dak coming off a torn hamstring. Good luck. I want Mike McCarthy gone because we need a reset. And the same old is not getting the Cowboys anywhere. 20 years of this, 20 plus years of nothing. Cowboys will go another season relying on the draft. We will lose more guys and we won't replace them in free agency. And that's because we don't want to pay guys and we'll have to hit on every draft pick in order to be competitive. That's how the Cowboys do business. And let me tell you guys a little secret. The Cowboys will trade down from the first round to get back that fourth round pick that was wasted on Mingo. So be prepared to not get any of those guys that, oh, we want these highly coveted guys, these top 10 draft picks. Good luck. Because the Cowboys won't do it. They're going to trade down, accumulate picks, and draft guys to fill out the roster. And, oh, if we get a starter, great. And if we don't, well, it's our guy. So we'll give him 5 years to develop and maybe he'll be good. The playbook is out there. We know what the Cowboys are going to do. They're going through a rebuild. Keep pretending like all of a sudden they're going to just say, man, we're going to spend all that money. We're going to get all these guys. Go get Cooper Kupp next year. We're going to get a Jalen Ramsey. We're going to get a Myles Garrett. They're not getting nobody. They draft and they develop. That's what the Cowboys do. So if that's what you want Mike McCarthy to be tasked with doing, good luck. For me, I wish him the best of luck in the future. But at this point, he isn't the guy to fix these issues that we have now. Sorry to say it, someone that's going to tell you the truth and not that clickbait, oh, it's Dak's fault, oh, Jerry, and this and that, this and that. I know what Jerry does. I'm not saying he's not helping. And I even have a video saying that Jerry Jones set up Mike McCarthy to fail. I get all that. But the things that he could control, he got worse at. Saying all the time in interviews, I have more control than I've ever had in my coaching career. Huh? You've had all this control right now, and that's what you're putting out on the field? When I'm watching Mike Zim out there with USFL guys balling on defense, stop. Stop. I'm not trying to hear that. The guy that has all the control offensively, player acquisition, as he claims. This is what he's going out there and doing. But when I'm seeing a complete turnaround on defense, nah, you can't sell me on that again. If y'all want to go for it, go ahead. But I'm tired of seeing this. This is just an extension of Jason Garrett. Look at how this team plays. The same issues. Jason Garrett under Mike McCarthy. But we went 12. We got 12 wins 3 years in a row. What does that have to do with today? When we're getting those 12 wins, what do we do in the playoffs? Nothing. He bring Mike McCarthy back. Guess what's gonna happen? Nothing. Yeah, we might win another 12 games. Might win 11. Great job. But when you need him to do his job, which is to call those plays, not one person can tell you that when it comes to those big games, he doesn't fold. Hey, it is what it is. Well, Cowboys Nation, that's all I got for you. Right now, it's draft season for us. We've been eliminated for playoffs. It is what it is, but again, it was kind of expected after us basically doing nothing last year. And I get it. I know a lot of y'all think draft position matters. But personally, for me, I don't care because I know we're going to trade. Well, one, I know we're going to trade down anyway. And two, don't be fooled by the sexy pick because most of the time, those guys end up being busts and they're more expensive. Jerry doesn't like paying guys. So, of course, those high draft picks, he was going to trade down no matter what. I'm just telling you. And I'll definitely have a breakdown in another video on why we're going to trade down so we can get that realistic expectation for what's in store for the draft because at least 2 to 3 guys will wow scouts at the combine and they'll just throw things out of whack. So some of those guys that you really, really like are going to get pushed down anyway. Or the guys that you like might not play or might not test as well and get pushed down anyway. Again, anything could happen. So, Cowboys Nation, keep hanging in there. We have 2 games left. Got Eagles coming up. After that, the Commanders. And we'll just see what Jerry does with Mike McCarthy. Um, also with Micah Parsons' contract and draft. So there'll be plenty of stuff to talk about this offseason. So be ready for all the craziness to come. And guys, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I'm your boy Mecca Mike. That's MECCHA Mike. And I'm out.